Hey guys, what's up? It's Victoria. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm gonna talk about movies that I watch as a filmmaker student. As you may or might not know, if you follow me on social media as you do, I'm about to graduate as a bachelor from film and video production here in Miami. I also, if you didn't know, I'm gonna tell you right now, this is my second time doing this career. The first time I did it in Venezuela. I graduated and I came here to the United States and I had to do it all over again. The kind of people that you get along with at the beginning of the career is almost the same, and the kind of movies that those people watch are almost the same. And so today I'm gonna talk about some couple movies that a lot of filmmaker students will tell you that are great, and actually on my opinion they're not, and another ones that they say they're great and on my opinion they are. Once again, as the same way as my other videos, has not a specific order, not like the first one is the worst and the last one is the best. It has not a specific order. I'm actually just gonna say as on the top of my head basically, but I'm gonna start with the one that has the most, it's not most controversial, but the one that I had the most strongest opinion against, and that one will be the Stanley Kubrick movie, The Clockwork Orange. When I tell you that I despise this movie, I mean it. And I'm so sorry to all the film bros out there that are gonna say this is an amazing movie, this is the best movie ever. I just can't go past the whole sexual assault and all the disgusting things. I can go past it, but I do not understand the movie. I truly don't understand what's the whole gist about the movie. Once again, I understand that Alfred Hitchcock and Stanley Kubrick are two of the most amazing directors because of all the contributions that they did to the modern cinema. Because yeah, I'm there with you. They're great directors. The contributions and the attributions to what we have right now is what makes the movies right now basically. So yeah, they were great. Their movies, cinematographically speaking, they're great. But I can get through the fact that it has sexual assault. It has a lot of other worse stuff going around in Clockwork Orange. It's just really traumatizing to me. The first time that I saw it, I was like, there's no way that I see this again. And unfortunately I had to watch it 3 times because it was part of my homework. So another movie that you're gonna see all the film bros saying oh, it's the most amazing movie, it's Pulp Fiction. Once again, I understand, Stanley Kubrick, Alfred Hitchcock, Quentin Tarantino, great directors. They have done amazing movies. It doesn't mean that it's gonna be the kind of movie that I'm gonna like. Also, it doesn't mean that I'm gonna like the movie. I watched Pulp Fiction, I think once, and I never saw it again. I've been tempted to rewatch it, but every time that I watch something from Tarantino, I remember why I don't like it. The scripts are great. The story is great. I just for some reason, I don't like how it's separated by chapters and the chapters are different and then at the end it all connects. I don't like a movie that I have to puzzle it. I don't like a movie that I have to puzzle it and be like, okay, I'm having 3 different storylines and how does this connect? Yeah, there's a point, I think if I'm not wrong, there's a point where a little bit of everything it connects, but it's not fully connected. So it just was all over the place for me. Does not mean that it's not a good movie. It's just not my type of movie. Besides of that, I also am not a girl or a person that likes gory stuff. So when I started watching Quentin Tarantino, it was a lot of plot and stuff like that, and I really don't like that. That's why I also don't like Kill Bill. Next one for number 3, I really like this movie. It's not one of my favorite movies, but it's a movie that I feel like any filmmaker needs to watch, as well as the other 2. I watched them because once again, they were great for the directors and stuff like that. This movie is called Memento by Christopher Nolan. It's amazing. Christopher Nolan is one of my favorite directors, with the same hand that goes with Steven Spielberg. He's also my favorite director. I think Steven Spielberg is my number one, and then Christopher Nolan. A lot of times when you're studying film, you see a lot of people saying like, oh, Christopher Nolan is my favorite director and stuff like that. So I'm not really gonna say anything wrong about it, because once again, he is one of my favorite directors. So for this movie, Memento is actually really good. I think it's a great movie for a filmmaker to watch, especially if you're in school, because it gives you how to grab a story and make it interesting. The story is really straightforward. It's about this guy that's trying to catch the killer of her wife, basically. But the way that the movie is entertaining is the fact that it goes back and forth all throughout the movie. It starts with the ending, so when you get to the ending with that beginning part, you already know how all the movie goes about, and you don't have to like watch it again, because you were going back and forth the whole movie. The only thing about it is it could be a little bit slow paced. It actually has like each moment that it gets a little bit repetitive, because it goes, like I said, back and forth. A lot of times they put like extra and extra and extra story, and they repeat a lot of stuff. But besides of that, it's a great story. It's a great way to see how you can put like your flashbacks into a movie. Next, is not a specific movie. I'm gonna do more like a genre. It's not even a genre, like kind of like year, because as a film student, you have to watch a lot, and when I said a lot, I said a lot of old movies, a lot of black and white movies, a lot of no sound movies. So it gets a little bit boring. But once again, like I said, the same thing with Stanley Kubrick and Alfred Hitchcock. These people are the ones who basically did what movies are today. So obviously you have to watch those kind of things to see like how those very first movies are influencing what we have right now, and what directors are influencing from other directors. So I watch stuff like The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, I watch Nosferatu, I watch Metropolis, The Birth of the Nation, and Man with the Camera. There's a French movie that is so realistic, it's really gross, because there's one part that it grabs like a lady and it cuts her eyeball. It's like really disgusting. I do not remember the name. It's in French, but I'm gonna put it over here on screen. One of the only Charlie Chaplin movies that I watched, I think it was The Greatest Dictator or something like that. It's great. He has this amazing speech about being a dictatorship and how people should be free from it, and it's just like wonderful. It's amazing. If anything, this is the only movie that I really like about all these old movies that I had to watch. Even though it was still black and white and was with no sound, it was still entertaining. So yeah, in conclusion, a lot of black and white movies, so you can like truly understand like how cinemas like get to where it is. Next one is, I had a teacher that I have a professor that he used to love, well, he used to know, like he loves this movie so much that he named his daughter after the character of this movie. The movie is called Amélie. It's also a French movie if I'm not wrong. Now, my biggest pet peeve, I don't know if to call it pet peeve or problem or issue, but my biggest thing is the fact that people dissect movies in like extreme ways. Yeah, when you're starting as a film student, like yeah, they tell you like, oh, to represent like some emotions you have like these different colors, and then you can do different things with lighting, so you can show them if they're angry, if they're happy, if they're sad, if they're hopeless, if they are finding something new, if they have like something great in their lives going on, basically. Okay, I understand that, but as someone that watches movies just for the sake of being entertained, I could care less about, oh, the lighting is green, so that means that she's gonna be wealthy, or that means that she is so in tune with the nature. Specifically, not specifically this movie, but with this movie it happens a lot that my professor used to tell us like, okay, like what do you see, like what are the colors, like how does she feeling at this moment, and I'm there like, do I have to dissect every single thing of this movie? The movie is good, it is. It's not my favorite movie. It's something that I could recommend it and be like, okay, if you want to start like getting into the films or whatever, you can watch Amelie. Like, it's a really light movie, it's really cute, it's really great. The art in that movie is just amazing. I wouldn't label it as one of my favorite movies. Obviously everyone has their own taste. I guess I just have a problem with this movie because they made me dissect it so much for no reason, because the story is not that deep and it's not that complicated. I don't know if this one is gonna be a big thing, but I have heard a lot of people saying that 2001 Space Odyssey is an amazing movie. I'm gonna be totally honest with you, like totally honest. I watched Gravity by Alvarito Iñárritu. If I'm not wrong, I'm pretty sure I'm saying the wrong name from the director because Iñárritu. I watched that movie. It was the worst movie that I could watch in my life. The worst one. I don't understand what was the story. Artistically speaking, like direction of photography, it was precious. It was amazing. It was the beautiest thing that I have ever seen in my life. I was 2 hours sitting on my couch like this. Since I watched that one, I heard something along the lines of the same thing of 2001 Space Odyssey. I also saw that was like 2 hours and 40 minutes long, if I'm not wrong. It's directed by Stanley Kubrick. Yeah, but there's a bunch of different movies that are good of him too. So you're not gonna catch me watching 2001 Space Odyssey, sitting 2 hours, falling asleep the first 5 minutes. So since those were my hot takes, I kind of want to give you a little bit of my list. The fact that I'm giving you these movies doesn't mean that I like these movies. Once again, these movies that I talk about the past in this video, they're not my kind of movies. They're still great cultural, pop culture movies that you might want to see just because of the sake of, as I say, of the contribution of these people for the modern cinema right now. But as my personal taste is not my taste. First, as I said before, I had to watch a lot of black and white movies. Wanna see these kind of old movies. Nosferatu is a great movie to start. Nosferatu is an amazing movie. You also have The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. Also, great movie to start with. It has a great story, and it actually, there's parts that it keeps you like going for it. You just have to like pay attention, because since it doesn't have any sound, it might be like more difficult for you to focus on it. Because I know I did. So it was a little bit hard to be like, okay. So yeah, this next movie is not about like, oh, the art direction or anything of that. It's more about the story. Because when I watched this movie, I was like, bro, like this is kind of like the movie that you can watch if you are interested in being a film student. It's called Hugo. I know that my people like have talked probably bad things about it. It's a good movie. The actual story of the movie is great. It talks about Méliès, which was one of the first pioneers of the movie basically, and he does like all these crazy effects and whatever. You can also watch his mini movies. I think there's the one that's more popular is The Travel to the Moon, if I'm not wrong. Either way, you can always watch the movie Hugo, and you can watch it. Like, it's just the fact of how they told you how he did stuff for the movies is just great. So if you want to know more about how the sound effects came by, how the special effects and the editing came out, you can also watch that movie Hugo. It's great. I really like. Another great movie for me will be Back to the Future. Back to the Future is like this great movie that it keeps giving you. It keeps giving you when you think you don't have any more of a story to put into, they give you more. This is something that's so incredible hard in Hollywood. It's so incredible hard to make a movie and to have these plot holes that you can get into to another movie without being like an actual hole that people are gonna be like, oh, and what happened with this? That happens a lot on movies and a lot of TV series, that they leave something on the side. They're like, okay, so the something happened with it. In this movie, you have the first one, and then the second one has a lot of correlation with the first one, and it's just so crazy and so amazing to see how the two things were happening parallel to them. So if you haven't watched it, go do it. Also, amazing movie. This is one of my favorite movies and one of my recommendations if you want to start on all these film territory. As I said, we cannot talk about film anything if we're not talking about Alfred Hitchcock and Stanley Kubrick. For Stanley Kubrick, I definitely will suggest you to watch The Shining. It's also one of the greatest like horror movies, I think. I'm not a fan of horror movies, but this one, it was great. And Jack Nicholson as the main character was just perfect. So this movie just encapsulates what Stanley Kubrick is, and especially the Kubrick look that you can see a lot on TikTok, that they go like this. It's just amazing. He's a great director, and this is one of my favorite movies of him. For Alfred Hitchcock, also amazing director, that thanks to him we have a lot of the things that we have right now. Especially if you watch the movie Vertigo, we have like that shot that gives you like vertigo. That's amazing. That was discovered by him. That's why he's one of the greatest. So for me, one of the movies that I like most about him is Rear Window. I don't remember what I watched it, but it was such a great movie. Keeps you on your toes. You also have Psycho and you have Vertigo. As I just said, you have way more, but those are kind of like the three that I like the most about him. But he's just a great director that you can basically watch whatever movie that you want. Not all of them are gonna be a hit, like I said, but yeah. As I mentioned before, I also wanted to add into this list Memento by Christopher Nolan. As I said, I don't have to say it again. It's a great movie. You just have to watch it. That means that's everything for this week's video. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up. Also subscribe. You can hit the little bell button so you can get notified every time that I upload. I try to upload every Friday. You can also comment down below. Comment down below any other good movies that you think a film student should watch. You can also follow me on my social medias, where I'm gonna keep talking about a little more of my graduation, and more later this month I'm gonna go into a cruise, so you can also follow me for that. And it's also my birthday. So that's everything for this week's video, and I'll see you guys. Bye.